right, we are back with Barbott Farms Greenhouse, and I tell you what, I'm very excited about this because I haven't seen my baby in over a week. And now we got my beautiful planter that Jill helped me out with. First of all, coming in a week later, it looks awesome. It looks very good. But now we're going to see how we can take that to the next level, right?
Right. So the planter has been planted for a week now. And basically that's allowed the time for those roots to kind of establish into the ground. And now we're going to talk about fertilizing. And then how you also take care of it, deadheading. Remember, like we talked about trimming your beard and trimming your hair. We also maintain our plants. So it does look great. One of the things that we did with Matt is that he wanted something that was very low maintenance. So there's really not a lot of things that you're going to have to do to this. If you look real close into this yellow million bells, you can see where the blooms are starting to die back. Because million bells is a self-cleaning plant, there's nothing that you need to do to clean those. If they were petunias, we'd have to be cutting those off. But with the million bells, we're just going to let those live on. So we're talking about these blooms right here.
Sure.
Okay. And then you're going to have more blooms to bloom. The only one thing that we are going to look at right now is the dahlia. So you've got 3 blooms, and inside those 3 blooms, there's also 3 more buds coming. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're just going to show you how to trim this dahlia. Similar to the geranium, we're not just cutting the top of that flower head off. We're going to follow the flower head all the way down to the stem where the plant is. So grab a pair of scissors. And this is the oldest bloom right now.
We're going to the big ones.
Yep. Even though that this bloom still looks good, we're going to cut it off just so that we can show you what you need to do for future use, okay? So you're going to find the stem. You're going to take it all the way back to where it meets. You're just going to snip it off. And just make sure you're snipping that one bloom, not the buds. Ow!
You were waiting for that, weren't you? All right, this hurts me more than it hurts you.
You can take that home. Put it in your ear.
Come back here. How beautiful.
So we're deadheading this plant, but we're also maintaining and encouraging more blooms for your summer. Okay. The grass will continue to grow, and the verbena is going to continue to cascade forward. These blooms still look wonderful. We're not going to talk about any more of trimming for today. Maybe we can take a look at it next week when you're here.
Sure.
But we are going to talk about fertilizer. So it's time that you're going to start fertilizing, and there's 2 different ways that you can fertilize. And one is using an osmocote, and an osmocote is a bead of fertilizer that you're not going to dissolve in water. You're just going to put it into your planter, and it's a slow release. Okay, they say that it will feed like for 3 months, but it's also heat sensitive. So if we have a really hot summer, the heat is going to make that release a lot faster. So sometimes it doesn't last that whole 3 months. So what we're doing is mixing the osmocote into your planter, and then once we do that, we're still going to continue to use your water soluble fertilizers. Okay, so we're going to do, because it's a planter, we want to fertilize every 3rd watering.
Okay.
Okay. If you were in the ground holds a lot more moisture and nutrients, so we don't have to do that every 3rd watering. We're going to do that maybe once every 2 weeks. But for planters, we're recommending once every 3rd watering, in addition to your slow release osmocote. You're probably going to water it and fertilize it, maybe water every 2 to 3 days, okay, depending on what the weather is.
Sure.
Later in July, it could be once daily.
Okay.
A lot of new gardeners don't realize that an annual is a plant that comes up, that you plant every year. A perennial is one that comes up every year. And the plant determines it's whether it's an annual or a perennial based on the zone that we're in. So do you know what zone we are as far as a hardiness for a plant?
We are in zone 4.
Close.
3.
Close.
5. 19.
Okay. So in our zip code of 49127, we're actually zone 6A. Okay.
3rd guess. This is going to be my 3rd guess.
Yep. So what that determines is if the plant is an annual or a perennial, and it gets pretty technical here. Okay. So I want to show you just a little bit on a tag. These are perennial tags. Okay. And it will share with us what zone hardiness this is in. So this is a zone 4 to 9. So this plant is a perennial because we are zone 6. Okay, this would be a perennial in zone 6. Here is why I'm sharing this. I watched a national shopping show just 2 weeks ago, and they were promoting a Gerbera daisy that was a perennial Gerbera daisy for zone 10.
Which is not zone 6A.
But yet it was still it was showing in Michigan.
Wow.
So that kind of, you really have to make sure that you pay attention to what you're buying.
Yeah.
Because of how folks are advertising those things. The other thing I want to share with you on these tags is a lot of people don't know how to read the sun and the shade. So here's an example of a plant that takes full sun. Okay? Here's an example of a plant that takes full sun, part sun. So what does that mean? The part sun needs to be an afternoon sun because the first part is full sun. Okay, that's confusing, but if you look at this one, this is a begonia and it wants shade. It also gives you a part sun, but because it's shade, we're only going to do morning sun, afternoon shade. So if it's a full sun plant, you need the afternoon sun. If it's a shade plant, then you need the afternoon protection from shade from that. So a lot of people misunderstand what these icons mean, but always ask. Our perennials, we have a shade section of perennials and we have a sun section of perennials, and that's also with our baskets. We designate with signs what shade baskets there are and then what sun baskets there are. So we try to help you as much as we can, but certainly ask.
All right, it's opening weekend, Barbott Farms Greenhouse, and again, you yourself could have a planter as beautiful as this, or you can take from the experts as they've already got some that are pre-made. How about that? So there you go. Thank you very much, Mary. Appreciate it.